gears. What do y'all think about Meg coming out saying that Tory shot her? What do you think about that? And what do you think? Huh?
What do we think about what?
I said, what do you think about Meg Thee Stallion coming out actually saying, verbatim, Tory Lanez shot me?
I thought that was already public knowledge.
Oh, she came out with a video last week and said, this nigga shot me. She was like, at first I wasn't going to say nothing. I was trying to protect him, but he wanted to come out with his publicist and spin the whole shit. She was like, nah, that nigga shot me. He's like,
so I don't understand, because I thought we already knew that.
It was assumed. It was like said that he had shot her, but it has not been confirmed. Like, they haven't spoke until she went live last week. Nobody's really said Tory Lanez is being charged for this.
Oh.
Nothing has been. Tory Lanez was only charged for having a gun in the car. Tory Lanez was never charged for touching her. It was his gun in the car, so that's all he was charged for, is having a firearm. Nothing was ever said. It was said she was shot. It was said Tory shot her, but they never confirmed it. Her, him, no one in their camp. It was never public.
So now, so everybody trying to compare her to 6ix9ine, saying that she's a snitch and all this and everything like that. And I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, first of all, and then one motherfucker tried to really argue and said, well, she talks about all this hood shit in her, in her music, so she knows how the hood works, and she should be held accountable for that. And I'm like,
I don't think he listens to her music. He doesn't listen to her music. She don't talk about no hood shit.
If you feel like that, then don't buy her music no more. Simple as that.
No, but even if she did, so fucking what? It's just entertainment. Cause all these motherfucking rappers killed 1,000 motherfuckers. Niggas is serial.
It's crazy the way people will talk about people snitching. I was just talking with my brother about this the other day. People who ain't never been in the seat, who ain't never been in that room, being asked them questions, will talk about somebody snitching. And the way I feel about it is, if you ain't been in that room with the two detectives trying to trip you up, asking you questions, you can't shit about somebody snitching or not snitching.
Shut the fuck up about it.
That's like me talking about, oh, man, if they would have shot at me, I would have shot right back at them. And ain't never been shot at.
You cannot compare Megan's situation to any 6ix9ine or any other snitch. Megan's music does not talk about being in the street, shooting bitches up, being in the club, shooting clubs up, fighting. She talks about getting her bag, fucking people, her pussy, how she goes to school. She talks about other shit that she did, twerking, stuff that she actually enjoys. Sorry.
Kids give me bad luck.
Oh no, fucking kids.
I felt like Boozy. You had to drop that clip from that. She's a normal ass woman in the music industry, rapping about the shit that she knows best. She don't talk about shooting. She just didn't deserve to be shot. And I don't feel like she's snitching by saying, nigga, stop trying me, stop playing me. I've been quiet. Leave me alone and stop acting like you didn't do this shit. Because now you're spinning a whole different narrative. Her whole, if you watch her whole live and stuff, she's always been that type of person who kept it quiet until now, because she's tired of everybody, I guess maybe her fans, whoever else from the blogs, everybody asking all these questions, like, did you really get shot? Did he really shoot you? Because nothing is ever out there. But she's too busy trying to, what she says, protect him and not kind of get him wrapped up in too much trouble, because he still is a black man trying to get to a bag. Once you get that stripe on you, you're not going to get no more shows. I don't think he's going to come back like Chris Brown. Chris Brown was able to come back even with Rihanna looking like the way she did because of Chris Brown's talent and his, just the way he touched the world. He was like Michael Jackson. So he had Tory Lanez is not.
And because chicks
want to get the whole world. That too.
Yeah.
But he don't have that. So he just looks like an angry little man that just went off and shot her. Megan ain't talking about rap.
I think it's so out of control the way we hold people to the street standards, and that's the only standard we really hold them to. We don't come at them like, yo, why don't you talk about education more? Or we don't come at them like, yo, why don't you hold down Black Lives Matter? We don't even really do that. But if someone violates the street code, we're at their necks.
She's civilian. She's never talked about being in the street. She's a civilian. Civilians call cops. Things happen, they call the police. Street people don't call the cops. Street people handle that shit in the streets. Civilians, if someone did something to me, I'm calling the police. I don't fuck with the police, but hey, I need to make a report. I just got robbed. Something happened. I'm calling the police because I'm a civilian. I'm not a street nigga. If I got robbed, I'm going to look for who robbed me if I was a street nigga. If I'm a civilian, I'm calling the police. She's a whole
Well,
civilian. She had every right to call the police, every right to feel the way she felt, even the traumatized she went through the whole situation of that.
6ix9ine is out of control. 6ix9ine is the definition of what 6ix9ine is the embodiment of the idea that the hood has of snitches.
Yeah.
He represents everything that the whole no snitching thing is about. From soup to nuts. He represents a whole piece of it. The guy who never did anything to begin with, the guy that had the goons around him, the guy that everybody knew as soon as shit get hot, he would jump ship. And then when it happened, he did jump ship. The guy who knew the type of people he was around and knew the danger he was around. So he represents everything that that whole no snitching rule was about. So to say that this lady is like him is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. I seen on a post, a friend of ours, man, Mike Jerry, he was basically saying that, you know, if you're a woman, he wasn't necessarily speaking about Meg, but he was basically saying that if you're a woman and you are dealing with a person who's known to have, you know, to engage in some type of criminal activity,
right?
And if you put yourself around that situation, then you're actually held liable to that no snitching standard. And
right.
I was like, yeah, like you are and you aren't.
I think to some degree, because like if you're married to Tony Soprano and then Tony Soprano beats the shit out of you, well, you can't call the cops because your husband's Tony Soprano.
Of course.
So what do you do? Just get beat to death?
Of course, but he was talking about like when certain shit, right. I'm saying just like you're saying, but when certain shit happens, that's when that whole no snitching thing comes in. Like, so say if they raid your house, whatever, and you knew your husband was selling drugs or anything like that, you shouldn't be able to snitch. I'm like, you should be held liable to those standards.
You are.
Whatever. And I was like,
legally, you catch that charge too.
That part. But I was like, but if you got, but I was thinking like, if you got a stand up nigga, I'm saying a real nigga, he'd be like, nah, she don't know nothing about that. I'll hold all these charges.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it was a real ass nigga like that. And I was like, let's not compare Tory to any of that. Tory's a little nigga with a fucking gun. That's what he is. That nigga been around a couple street niggas. I'm pretty sure he wasn't involved with it, but he made a fucking great song about the shit.